Hey everyone, welcome to a deep dive into building life you love with financial savvy.
Yeah,
It's quite a mouthful.
it is a bit, isn't it?
We'll be kind of looking at maximizing, that difference between what you're bringing in and what you're spending,
Mm.
and how to turn that into a catalyst for investments and experiences
Yeah.
that really enrich your life.
Yeah, I love that idea of, it's not just about having heaps of money.
Right.
It's actually like aligning it with what you want to do in life. And I think that's really cool.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
And to help us on this exploration, we're diving into the book How to Not Work Forever
Yes.
by Natasha Etschmann and Kresina.
I think this is a great book. It's
Yeah.
really relatable.
Yeah.
Etchman's a financial educator and authorized representative of Guideway Financial Services. And then Kresina is also a financial educator, and she's head of product and community at Perler Investments.
So they know what they're talking about.
They do. They do.
All right, so are you ready to unlock the secrets to financial freedom?
Absolutely. Let's get into it.
All right, so first off, Etchman and Kresina, they talk about the power of time when it comes to building wealth.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't really fully understand
Yeah.
the power of time.
Yeah, and unlike money, which we can earn more of time,
A
is,
finite resource.
yeah,
Yeah,
fucking going
it's
to live.
in a way, right? And we can't get it back.
You can't earn more of it. You can't buy more of it.
That's right. So we want to use it wisely.
Exactly.
And they have this great saying in the book.
Mm-hmm.
The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago.
Love that one.
The second best time is now.
Yes.
So true.
Very, very true.
All right, so how do we harness this power of time in our finances?
So I think one of the best ways is through compound interest.
Right.
And that's where your money's making money, and then that money's making money.
Yeah, it's money making babies.
Yes, it is, exactly.
And those babies are making babies.
Yes, and then
Yeah.
you've got this, like, exponential growth.
So cool.
It's they have an example in the book. They say if you invest just $5 a day
Okay.
with an annual return of 7%
Yeah.
over 40 years, that would be cool.
Over $364,000,
Wow.
which is just incredible. Like, it's such a small amount.
Yeah, just $5.
$5 a day. And look what
Yeah.
you could have in 40 years.
Right. But of course, the flip side is if we delay those investments,
You miss out.
yeah, you miss out on all that potential growth.
And all that compounding.
Right. So it's like leaving money on the table,
It really is.
which nobody wants to do.
No one wants to do that.
So let's bust some myths about investing.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. So a lot of people think investing is like gambling.
Yeah, they think, oh, it's risky. It's like going to the casino.
Right. And I guess, the stock market can be a little scary.
It can be a bit volatile, can it?
It can, but is it really that risky?
Well, not if you've got a diversified portfolio.
Right.
And you're investing for the long term.
Yeah.
So I think, over the long term, that really mitigates the risk.
Right. And speaking of diversification, I love this analogy that Etchman and Kresina use in the book.
What is it?
They compare it to choosing a box of chocolates.
Oh, I like this one already.
Did you love that?
I do.
So instead of just betting on, one chocolate that you might like, you get to sample a whole variety.
You get a taste of everything.
Yeah.
And it reduces your chance of disappointment.
That's right.
That is so true with investing.
Yeah.
You want to have your fingers in many pies.
Right. Yeah. Spread that risk.
Absolutely.
Okay. So another big myth is that money is safer in a bank account.
I think this is one that a lot of people still believe.
Right.
But you need to consider the impact of inflation.
Right. Inflation is this silent thief.
Yeah, it really is sneaky, isn't it?
It is. So, your dollar today might not be able to buy what it can.
In a few years' time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like watching your money shrink.
It is, and you don't even realize it.
Yeah. And historically, investing in the stock market has had a much higher return than just leaving it
In a bank account.
in a bank account with that little interest rate.
Especially with interest rates so low at the moment.
Yeah. So the takeaway here is that a well-structured long-term investment plan not only beats inflation, but it can also generate a lot of wealth
Yes,
over time.
for sure.
Now, some people are afraid of losing all their money in the market.
Yeah. It's a common fear, isn't it?
It is.
But is it realistic?
I don't think so, especially if you're diversified
Yeah.
and playing the long game.
Yeah, if you've got a diversified portfolio and you're invested for the long term,
Mm.
the chances of you losing all of your money are slim to none.
Right, because market dips are normal.
They are a normal part of the cycle.
They are. They happen.
They happen, but we know historically that the market always rebounds.
Yes, it does.
And it reaches new highs eventually.
Feels like a roller coaster.
Yeah, I like that analogy.
Yeah.
You know there's going to be ups and downs,
Right.
but the journey continues.
Yeah. And you end up higher than you started.
Most of the time, yes.
Okay, so let's talk about reducing expenses.
Okay.
So this is a key part of, minding the gap.
Yes, definitely.
So what tips do Etschmann and Kresina have when it comes to budgeting?
Well, budgeting doesn't have to be this like restrictive, horrible thing.
No.
Um, there are a couple of methods that I think are really helpful. So
Okay.
the first one is the 50-30-20 rule.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic.
Yeah, and that's where you divide your after-tax income.
Okay.
50% to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to savings and investments.
Right, so it gives you some structure, but it's not
Overly restricted.
like deprivation.
No, not at all. You
Yeah.
can still enjoy your life.
Yeah, and then they talk about zero-based budgeting.
Oh, yes. This one's for the detail-oriented people.
Yeah, you assign every dollar a job.
Every single dollar has to have a purpose.
Right.
And this is great for, if you're really detail-oriented and you love to plan.
Yeah, I like that. And they explain both of these methods in detail.
They do.
So it's really about finding what works for you.
Exactly. It's about finding a system that empowers you
Yeah.
to really track your spending and pinpoint areas where you could maybe save a bit more.
Right. It's about, finding a budget that supports your overall financial well-being.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's break down some specific categories where we can potentially save.
Okay.
Housing is often a huge chunk of our budget.
Yes, it's normally the biggest one.
It is.
But there are ways to reduce this expense.
Right.
You could try negotiating with your landlord for lower rent or refinancing your mortgage to get a better interest rate. Or even, if it's feasible,
Yeah.
consider things like getting a roommate
Right.
or living with family for a little while.
Those might not be permanent solutions, but
But even short term, it can free up a lot of cash.
yeah, redirect that cash flow.
Absolutely.
Okay, another big one is food and groceries.
Oh, yes. Food can be a big one,
It can.
especially these days.
It can. So what do Etschmann and Kresina suggest?
Well, they're big fans of meal prepping.
Oh, yeah.
So plan your meals in advance for the week.
Right. Yeah.
You're less likely to buy things impulsively.
Right, and less food waste.
Less food waste as well.
And you know what I love about meal prepping?
What's that?
You've got your meals ready to go.
Yes.
For the week. You're saving money, but also saving time.
So true. It's a huge time saver.
Huge time saver.
I love it.
Yeah. Okay, so they also suggest reducing meat consumption.
Okay.
Looking for sales and discounts.
Yes. Always be on the lookout for a bargain.
Yes, and using, those online tools for budget-friendly meal planning.
So good.
So many good resources out there.
There are so many.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Okay, what about transportation? That can be a drain, too.
It can be. So they suggest, carpooling, using public transport more.
Yeah.
Maybe negotiating work from home days,
Right?
if that's possible, to reduce that commute cost.
Yeah. Cut down on that petrol.
Yeah, or even just using those apps to find the cheapest petrol prices.
Yeah.
Every little bit counts.
Every little bit helps. And what about, those little expenses that we might not think about?
Yeah, like subscriptions.
Yes, all those streaming services.
Yeah. Do you really need all of those?
Do you really need them all?
Probably not.
Probably not. Maybe we could rotate them or just pick one.
Yeah. Or, look for some free alternatives.
Right.
There are a lot out there
There are.
these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they suggest, embracing DIY projects.
Oh, I love a good DIY project.
Me too.
Yeah.
So, fixing things around the house, making gifts
Yes.
instead of buying them.
Yeah, there's so much information online
There is
to help you do that these days.
so much you can learn anything online these days.
Anything.
Yeah, which is amazing.
And buying things pre-owned.
Oh, yes. I love a good op shop.
Me too.
Yeah. Or, those online marketplaces.
There's so much good stuff.
There is. It's amazing what you can find. Yeah. And it's so much cheaper.
And it's good for the environment too.
Yeah.
Which is a bonus.
So it's all about being mindful and resourceful.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we've talked about reducing expenses, but what about...
Boosting income.
Yes.
That's the other side of the equation, isn't it?
What's the
The bigger that gap,
Mm-hmm.
the more you have to invest
The more you have to invest
and enjoy.
and live the life you want.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are Etschmann and Kresina's thoughts on this?
Well, they say there's a two-pronged approach.
Okay.
First, look at your current job.
Okay.
Can you make more money there?
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one is looking for those supplementary income streams.
All right, so let's start with the current job.
Okay.
So maybe it's time for a raise.
Maybe it is.
Why not?
Why not?
And, your employer values your expertise and your hard work.
Mm-hmm.
So a raise is just a reflection.
Of your worth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um, and when you go to ask for that raise, go in confident.
Yeah.
Be prepared.
Know your worth. Yeah.
And research what others are making in similar roles.
Yeah, I think that's so important. Know what the market rate is.
Right. And don't be afraid to mention inflation.
Yes.
Because everything's going up.
Yeah, it's a valid reason.
It is.
For sure.
And they also suggest talking to your colleagues about salaries.
Yeah, I think this can be a bit taboo, but, if we open up the conversation, it can give you more power when it comes to negotiating.
Right, because you know what other people are making.
Exactly. And it might highlight some, pay discrepancies, which is really important to know about sometimes.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, and then, think about upskilling.
Yeah.
Taking on extra responsibilities.
All right.
To move up in your company.
Yeah, show that initiative.
Yeah, and that could lead to a promotion. And more money.
More money.
Everyone loves that.
Everybody loves that. But what if your current job just isn't doing it for you?
Yeah, what if it's not fulfilling you?
Yeah, financially or personally. That's where those side hustles come in.
Yes, I love a side hustle.
Me too.
Yeah. It's a great way to make some extra money. Explore new interests.
Yeah.
And you might even transition to a whole new career.
Right.
Yeah.
And Etschmann and Kresina have all these examples in the book.
Yeah, like what?
So if you love to declutter, sell your unwanted stuff online.
Yes, or if you're good with words, do some freelance writing. Or if you're tech savvy, you could do some web development.
Yes, so many options.
The options are endless.
And the great thing is you can tailor it.
To what you enjoy doing.
Exactly.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's this concept of passive income.
Oh, yes. The dream.
The dream, right? Earning money while you sleep.
I know.
That sounds pretty good.
It does, doesn't it?
So what are their suggestions for exploring this?
Well, you could look at creating and selling online courses. Affiliate marketing is a big one these days. Or even, developing an app.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, so many different options.
So many options.
Yeah.
It's all about, creating a lifestyle that allows you to do
what you love.
What you love.
Yeah.
Whether it's travel or early retirement or just having more time with your family.
That's all about choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But before you dive into any new ventures, you need an investment plan.
Absolutely. You need a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they talk about tailoring those investments to your unique goals, your risk tolerance.
Yeah.
And how much time you have.
And how much time you've got. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
And they encourage you to set SMART goals.
Oh, yes.
Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant.
And
time-bound.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like mapping out those financial destinations.
Yeah.
Do you want to buy a house? Do you want to retire early?
Yeah.
Do you want to fund a passion project?
I think that's a really good one.
Yeah. Yeah. So once you have those goals, you can figure out
how much you need to invest.
How much to invest.
How long you've got.
Yeah.
And the level of risk that you're comfortable with.
That's right. So then we get into asset allocation.
Oh, yes.
And diversification.
So important.
So asset allocation is all about
spreading your investments.
Yeah.
Across different asset classes.
Right. So things like cash bonds.
Shares property.
Yeah. And it depends on
how much risk you're willing to take.
Exactly. So cash is
low risk, low return.
And then bonds.
It's a little bit more risk, a little bit more return.
Right.
And then you've got shares.
Yeah.
Which are the higher risk, but potentially higher return.
Higher return. And Etschmann and Kresina also talk about diversification.
Yes.
Which is spreading your investments even further.
Yeah.
Across different countries.
Different industries.
Different industries.
Different sectors.
Different sectors.
You want to spread it as much as possible.
Right. So if one area isn't doing so well, you're not putting all your eggs
in one basket.
In one basket. Exactly.
Exactly.
And remember those ETFs we talked about?
The exchange traded funds.
Yeah, they offer a really easy way
to diversify.
Yeah, you're buying a basket of assets.
With just one purchase.
With just one purchase. So it's super convenient.
Super convenient.
Okay, so we've covered the power of time.
Yes.
Debunked some investing myths.
Yes.
Talked about reducing expenses, boosting income, and building that personalized investment strategy.
Yeah.
So what's next?
Well, now it's time to delve into the world of superannuation.
It's super.
Right. It's a big topic.
It is, especially here in Australia.
Yes, definitely.
So it can be a bit daunting.
Yeah.
But it's so important for our financial future.
It really is.
To understand how it works.
What is superannuation?
Well, it's this retirement savings scheme where employers contribute a percentage
Of your earnings.
of your earnings
Into a fund.
into a fund that's meant to support you during your retirement year.
Yeah, essentially, you can't access it
Right.
until you retire.
Until you reach a certain age.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing because it forces you to save.
It forces you to save, which is really important
Right.
because a lot of us aren't very good at saving.
We're not.
Yeah.
So there are so many super funds out there.
Mm-hmm.
How do we choose?
Well, Etschmann and Kresina recommend
Yeah.
choosing a high-performing, low-fee fund
Right.
and, really comparing those fees,
Yeah.
the investment performance, and what insurance options are offered
Yeah, and they stress that those fees
Yeah.
can have a big impact.
over time.
Yeah, over time.
Yeah.
They can eat away at your returns.
Yeah. So make sure you choose a fund
Mm-hmm.
with low fees.
That's right. And once you've chosen a fund,
Mm-hmm.
you've got different investment options.
You have a lot of different options.
Yeah.
Ranging from conservative to high growth.
Right.
So, again, you want to think
Like the
about
risk tolerance?
how much risk are you willing to take?
Mm.
How long have you got until retirement?
Yeah.
If you're younger, you might,
on more risk.
go for a high growth option.
Right.
But if you're nearing retirement, you might want to be a bit more,
Conservative.
a bit safer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, they also talk about the different types of insurance
Oh, yes.
that are available within super.
Yes. Things like life insurance, TPD,
Mm-hmm.
income protection.
Yeah, so, it's good to have that peace of mind
Yeah,
that you and your loved ones are protected.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's very important.
It's not just your employer
Yeah.
that contributes to your super.
You can too.
You can too.
Yeah.
You can make additional contributions,
Mhm.
both before and after tax.
Yeah. And this is a good way to boost your savings
Right.
and potentially, reduce your tax as well.
Yeah. So Etschmann and Kresina explain all the details
They do.
of those concessional and non-concessional contributions.
Yeah. And they also talk about the First Home Super Saver Scheme,
Right.
which is a great scheme
It is.
to help people save for their first home deposit.
Yeah. So if you're a first home buyer,
Mm-hmm.
this can really help you accelerate your savings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And potentially reduce your tax as well.
So superannuation is a powerful tool
It is.
for building a secure future here in Australia.
Yeah. It's an opportunity to take control of your finances and make sure you've got enough to live comfortably.
In retirement.
Yeah.
All right. So that was a lot of information.
Yeah.
We covered a lot,
We did.
but hopefully you're feeling empowered
yeah,
to take control of your finances.
definitely.
But sometimes it's helpful to have a concise guide,
Yes.
like a roadmap.
Mhm.
So do Etschmann and Kresina offer anything like that?
They do. They do. They give us a fantastic 10-point plan
Okay. Awesome.
for kind of navigating
Mm-hmm.
this whole financial journey.
So it's like a cheat sheet
Yeah, a bit of a cheat sheet.
to get us started on the right track.
Absolutely.
Okay. So hit me with number one.
Okay, so number one is embrace the power of time.
Okay.
We talked about this earlier, right?
Yeah.
So the sooner you start investing, the better.
Right.
And be consistent, even if it's small amounts, because over time, compound interest will do its thing.
Yeah. It's amazing what can happen over those long periods.
It is. It's pretty incredible.
Okay. What's next on the list?
Okay, number two, bust those investing myths.
Okay.
So we talked about those.
Yeah.
The gambling myth,
Mm-hmm.
that it's super risky.
Yeah.
But remember, if you're diversified and you're investing for the long term,
Right.
the risk is really mitigated.
Okay. Number three.
Number three is mind the gap.
Ah, yes. Our favorite.
Our favorite. So this is all about creating a budget that works for you,
Mm-hmm.
cutting down on those expenses,
Yeah.
and finding ways to boost that income.
That's right. The bigger that gap,
The better.
the more money you have to play with.
Exactly.
Okay. Number four.
Number four, conquer your debt.
Okay.
So this is about prioritizing those high interest debts,
Right.
like credit cards.
Get rid of those.
Get rid of those as soon as you can,
Yeah.
because those interest rates are killers.
They really are. And what about things like student loans?
So with student loans, it really depends on your situation
Right.
and your priorities.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to weigh up
Yeah.
the pros and cons of paying them off early
Versus investing.
versus investing. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the mortgage?
The mortgage.
Pay it off or invest.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
It is. What do Etschmann and Kresina recommend?
So again, it depends on your individual circumstances.
Okay.
You need to look at the interest rates, the potential investment returns,
Yeah.
your risk tolerance,
Right.
and how much debt you're comfortable with.
Yeah. It's a big decision.
It is a big decision.
Okay. Number five.
Number five is craft a personalized investment strategy.
All right.
So we talked about this as well. Set those SMART goals.
Right.
Determine your risk tolerance.
Yep.
And choose the right assets for you.
And diversify.
Don't forget to diversify.
Spread that risk.
Exactly.
Okay, what's number 6?
Number 6 is embrace the simplicity of index funds and ETFs. So we love these.
Yeah, they're so easy.
Easy and effective.
Effective.
Yeah, and low cost.
That's right. So they're a great addition to any portfolio.
Especially if you're new to investing.
Okay, number 7.
Number 7, maximize superannuation.
Okay.
So we went through this in detail, but essentially understand how it works.
Yeah.
Choose a good fund.
Low fees.
Low fees.
Good returns.
Good returns.
Yeah.
Choose the right investments for you.
Right.
And make sure you're taking advantage of any contribution strategies.
To boost those savings.
To boost those savings.
Yeah, that's number 7. Number 8.
Number 8 is don't be afraid to seek expert guidance.
Okay.
So, a financial advisor can be a great asset.
Right.
They can help you create a plan that's tailored
to your
specific needs.
Yeah, and they can help you navigate those complex decisions.
Absolutely.
That can be overwhelming.
It can be very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Especially if you're new to it all.
Especially if you're new to it. All right, so that's number 8. Number 9.
Number 9, cultivate a growth mindset.
Okay.
So think of money as a tool to enable you to do the things you want to do.
Right. It's not the be-all, end-all.
It's not the be-all, end-all.
It's means to an end.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, don't be afraid to enjoy it along the way.
Right. It's about the journey.
It is.
Yeah. And number 10.
Number 10 is take action today.
Yes.
Don't wait.
Don't wait.
Just start.
Start small.
Yeah, even small steps.
It can make a big difference.
Can lead to big results over time.
Okay. So we've got our 10-point plan.
We do.
Are we ready to tackle another important topic?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's talk about debt.
Okay.
Now, debt often has this negative connotation.
Yeah.
But Etschmann and Kresina point out that it's not always bad.
Yeah, not all debt is created equal.
That's right.
Yeah.
So how do we know the difference, Natasha?
Good debt and bad debt.
Good debt and bad debt.
Well, good debt is generally considered to be debt that's used to purchase something that's going to increase in value.
Okay.
So an appreciating asset.
So like a house.
Like a house or an investment property.
Right, because over time,
Yeah.
the value of that asset
Goes up.
will hopefully go up
Yeah.
and offset.
Any interest you're paying.
Yeah. So it's like leveraging that debt
Yeah, to create wealth.
to create wealth.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's bad debt then?
So bad debt is usually for things that
Decrease.
depreciate in value.
So things that lose value over time.
Yeah, so those personal loans
Yeah.
for holidays or for
You think
buying
clothes.
Yeah, things that are going to lose value
Yeah.
as soon as you buy them, basically.
And you're paying interest on that.
And you're paying interest on something.
Yeah. That's worth less than you borrowed.
Yeah, it's like running on that treadmill.
Right. You're putting in the effort, but
Yeah, you're not really
not going anywhere.
going anywhere.
Okay, so how do we get rid of this bad debt?
Okay, so the first thing is prioritize those high interest debts.
Credit cards?
The credit cards,
Through them?
pay them off as quickly as you can.
Yeah, because those interest rates can really add up.
They can quickly snowball out of control.
That's right.
Yeah.
And what about things like student loans?
So with student loans, like we said,
Yeah.
it really depends on your situation.
Right.
HECS, HLOP here in Australia, it's got pretty favorable terms.
Yeah.
But there are arguments for and against
Mhm.
paying them off early.
So what are some things to consider?
So think about, are you going to earn more by investing that money?
Okay.
Or are you better off
Just paying down that loan.
paying down the loan?
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit of a...
It's a tough one. It is a tough one.
All right, so Etschmann and Kresina, they also tackle this question that I know a lot of people have.
Yeah.
Should you pay off your mortgage?
Or invest.
No.
Or invest.
What's the age-old question?
It is.
What should I do?
What should I do?
So again, there's no right or wrong answer.
Right.
It depends on your situation.
Okay.
But they do give us some things to consider.
Okay.
So look at those interest rates.
Mm-hmm.
What are the potential investment returns? How much risk are you willing to take?
Mm-hmm.
And, for some people, there's that psychological benefit
Of being debt-free.
of being debt-free.
Yeah, it's a weight off your shoulders.
It is.
Yeah.
It can be a big weight off your shoulders.
Okay, so are there any other key takeaways that we haven't touched on yet?
Yeah, I think one of the most important things that they highlight is that financial well-being
Mhm.
is about more than just
Numbers.
numbers and spreadsheets.
Yeah.
It's about aligning your finances
Yeah.
with your values, or your aspirations and your dreams.
So it's about living a life
With purpose.
with purpose, yeah, where your money's supporting
Their goals.
your goals and your dreams.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we get started with this alignment?
Well, they encourage us to have a growth mindset.
Okay.
So see money as a tool,
Mm-hmm.
not a source of stress.
Right. It's not about hoarding it.
Yeah.
It's about using it
Using it wisely.
to do good things.
Yeah, to create opportunities, to have
To
experiences.
live a good life.
Yeah, to live a good life.
Yeah, and remember, it's a journey.
It is.
It's not a destination.
It's about enjoying the process.
The process and making those choices
Yeah,
that are going to support you
in the long term.
in the long term. And they leave us with this really powerful question.
What is it?
How would your life change
Ooh,
if you didn't have to work forever?
I love that question.
That's a good one, isn't it?
It is. It really makes you think.
It makes you think about what's possible.
What could you do if you had that freedom?
Yeah. What would you do with your time
Yeah, if money wasn't an issue.
if money wasn't an issue?
Yeah. It's a good one to ponder.
All right, so we've talked about superannuation.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about debt.
Yes.
We've got our 10-point plan
We do.
to get started.
Yeah.
Anything else we should touch on?
I think we've covered the main points. No, I think we've pretty much covered everything from the book.
Yeah, we've really gone deep
We have.
into how to not work forever.
We have, and hopefully
Mm.
given our listeners
Mm-hmm.
plenty to think about.
Lots to think about. Lots of action steps.
Yeah, lots of things they can actually implement
Yeah.
into their own lives.
Yeah, and you know what I love about this book
That
is that it's not just about,
theory.
it's not just airy-fairy concepts.
No.
It's actually got
Practical advice.
practical advice. Yeah, it's stuff you can actually do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which is refreshing.
Yeah, and it's relatable.
I-
They use real life examples.
Mm-hmm.
And it's written in a way that's really easy to understand.
Yeah, I think anyone could pick up this book
I agree.
and get something out of it.
Yeah, even if you're a complete beginner,
Yeah.
or if you're already, quite financially savvy,
There's something for everyone.
there is.
Yeah. So if you're looking for a guide
Mm-hmm.
to help you achieve financial freedom,
This is a great place to start,
this is it.
for sure.
Yeah, Etschmann and Kresina,
Mm-hmm.
they lay it all out
They do.
in a
That's in a
clear
short and concise way.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah, so highly recommend checking it out.
I agree. I think it's a great read.
All right, well, that wraps up our deep dive
It does.
into how to not work forever.
Yes,
Hopefully you found it valuable.
I hope so.
We've covered a lot of ground,
We've
from
heard
the power of time
Mm-hmm.
to busting those investing myths
Mm-hmm.
to crafting a personalized investment strategy.
Yes, and don't forget superannuation
Super.
and managing debt.
Yeah, we tackled it all.
We did.
So remember, it's all about taking action,
Yes.
no matter how small.
Yeah, start today.
Start today.
Even if it's just,
Setting up a budget.
setting up a budget or,
Automating your savings.
automating your savings.
Yeah, or reading How to Not Work Forever.
Yes. Highly recommend that one.
All right, well, thanks for joining us,
Thank you for having me.
and we'll see you on the next deep dive.
See you then.